Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast. It's your boys. We're back again. Kris and Amal here to give you some postseason recaps for the AFC South. How you
Yeah,
feeling today, Kris?
I'm upset because I'm looking at what I had a couple of months ago. This is ugly.
I don't even honestly. This is one of these ones we should kind of stash.
Yeah, let's skip through
To
it.
be honest, for the sake of how knowledgeable we look, because we were off. We were off to say
It's
the
not that we
least.
were off. It's that we were lied to. The entire world was lied to,
Yeah,
and that's what
I mean,
it was based off of.
I will say, as a Jags fan, I'm happy to be this wrong. Um, but I had my boys at 4-13. I
Yeah.
will
Wow.
preface with the fact that I said that we were going to be a very exciting team to watch on offense. What I did not expect is what we were on defense. I did expect Trevor to take a step forward, but I didn't think he had enough yet for us to really, do much, make much noise. And I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I apologize. As a Jags fan, I should have had more faith in what we were doing over there.
But that's the
Um,
thing. What they've shown you in the past is why you felt the way you felt. So you're not wrong from a fan standpoint, but you're
no,
happy
I'm
that you were
100%
wrong.
wrong. 4-13. I was getting called out for it in group chats
Well, I had them at 5 and
before.
12, so I had them a little
Yeah.
bit better than you. But when you looked at the schedule, is like, okay, based off what we've seen, they're not beating that, and they showed you a totally different unit, which is like understandable. New coach, a little bit quicker implementing the new than we expected, so we were wrong in that aspect. But
Yeah.
everything takes time, so and I think you guys did benefit from other teams having key injuries.
Yeah,
One
like when we played
specifically.
the Chargers in September, it was the week after Justin Herbert had bruised ribs. So we took
Yeah.
advantage of that, crushed the Chargers week 3. And then we played a Vegas team who was reeling. I'm pretty sure we won that game. Baltimore without Lamar.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was without Lamar. That was a close game, but we came back, won that one. Beat Dallas. Shouts out to Trey. Um, yeah, there was a lot in there. I don't remember if we beat Denver or not, but
I think everybody beat Denver. Hold on.
there's a lot of games in there that swayed our way that I did not see a path to victory for us. So at 9-8 and winners of the division, can we talk about that for a sec? Winners of the division, right?
Yeah, winners of a division. I don't
Don't
want
do
to say
that.
the weakest,
Don't do
but it was disgusting. It was pretty bad.
don't do that. Don't
It's
do that.
not. I'm not doing it. Your division did it. So y'all won the
do that.
division at 9-8, which is
We're
like
winners. That's
no.
all.
You're right. You're
We're
winners. You have the
That's it.
conference title. Second place was 7-10.
Can we talk about the NFC South?
We are.
Didn't they have division winners? Technically, didn't the
what do you
Bucks technically win their division?
That's the worst division. Yeah. I mean, you by all
Exactly.
means,
So
you're
I don't
right.
want to hear nothing. We
No,
won.
they're gonna get their shit too. I'm just saying, like, you did win the division, but it's not because you guys like outright run the division. You guys played better at the times where other teams were either A, tanking, B, without their offense in the Titans, and then I don't even want to say his name on this page, but the Colts QB. You know what you're talking about.
Oh,
So
he who shall not be named.
I won't come out my mouth. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that was. I had him in fantasy. You want to talk
So
about disappointing? You want to
yeah,
talk about late round flyers? I was out here
bro,
telling people the deep sleepers, bro. I was in a
bro.
coma. There was no
over
deep
I'm
sleep.
over here at my job telling people, look, trust me, this is a great play, great value.
Trust.
Yeah, they never came
Good
back.
offensive line.
Like, come on, man. I'm
Michael
losing money.
Pittman. Bro,
Like,
we're on the money. You could get him in the 10th round. You shouldn't even have been looking in the 20th. I don't know what happened.
nobody
really
knows what
don't.
happened. That's another mystery of the universe, honestly. Like I
Honestly
haven't seen
concerned.
a higher cliff, I think, since my existence of players jumped off of like so, just
Yeah.
like just
It was
snap of a finger.
disgusting. It was awful, and not to mention
Like,
they lose JT, which we are skipping past the Jags a little bit. Our offense was crazy. Evan Ingram
it
broke
was.
out back end of the year, right? The Evan Ingram that people were expecting in New York showed up for us, especially in the back end of the Jags year. I told y'all Christian Kirk would be that boy.
You did.
Hot start to the year, kind of simmered down at the back end, but he was that boy. Got over 1,000 receiving yards. Did what I expected him to do. So shout out to him. Zay Jones, I owe you an apology. I was very disrespectful of the $10 million contract you got. You outplayed that. So appreciate you for what you contributed. And Chris, which drum were we beating consistently all year, even when we did the NFL recaps? Who was finna be that boy for the Jags? ETN. We told y'all. We told y'all who he was. We told y'all what he could be. And we told y'all it was just a matter of time. Even when it was down bad. Yeah. Even when it was James Robinson getting 54% of the touches. James who? Do you even remember where James Robinson is? I do. Do you remember?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Shipped that boy out for a 6th round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's wild. And then they didn't even play him. He was like 4th string.
Well, they did have the emergence of Zenobia Knight. That
but I mean,
pushed him back.
You trade for a guy, play him like 12 snaps, and then have to like do what? 4th string though? Zenobia Knight broke out, but 4th string though? Like, concerning. Anyway, as soon as they said wheels up to our boy, that's all y'all needed to see. Future bright over there in Jacksonville. I would be surprised if we didn't win the division last year, barring some crazy like free agency moves. But yeah, the team that we did expect to win, like we said before, quarterback, biggest fall off I think I've ever seen. Offensive line also had kind of a fall off this year as well. Doesn't get talked about enough, but I feel like they had a bit of a fall off as well too, especially on the run blocking aspect of things. The Colts, man. What you had the Colts at?
Do I have to say it?
You do, actually, because I have to say mine too.
I had the Colts at a whopping 12-5 this year.
Ooh, that sounds like playoff noise. That sounds like huge competitors. Sounds like dominance over the division.
Yeah.
That's what that sounded like. I had them at 11-6. I was right behind you. I think you could quote me on this. I'm pretty sure in the last bit I had it that they were a Super Bowl dark horse team. I am quite sure I said that. What was their actual record, Chris?
4-12-1.
Okay. Yeah. 4-12-1 because they tied one. You know.
Who did they tie with actually? Was it the Texans?
I think it was the Texans.
Gosh, first game of the season too. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I think we should have known what was happening at that point.
Texans had good D though. I'll give them that. But you're right.
Pause. But yeah,
and then they tricked us all week 3 and beat the Chiefs, and I was like, wait.
You know what's wild? I had them beating the Chiefs. I knew they were going to beat the Chiefs.
I lost so much money that day because
I know
their buns. I committed. They beat the Chiefs. But you know what? Let me slow down. I'm getting emotional. Nah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Our whole division ran over that division that week because that was the week we beat the Chargers, they beat the Chiefs, and the Titans beat the Raiders. Yeah, the Titans beat the Raiders that week too. We were running rapid over that entire division, the AFC South versus them that week. But yeah, a lot of fraudulent behavior from the Colts. Michael Pittman was okay. This was supposed to be his year though. Yeah. He was supposed to get his first actual quarterback behind a good offensive line. This was supposed to be breakout season for Michael Pittman. It was not. Michael Pittman also cost me money because I traded for Michael Pittman in a fantasy league and gave up Devontae Smith. And we all know how the back end of the year went for Devontae Smith compared to the back end of the year for Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sucked. JT, man, he was struggling to begin the year, and then he saved his name by getting hurt. Sounds wild, but he was not playing well to begin the year, and then of course the injury put him out for the year. So, I mean, if there's any solace to that happening, it's the fact that you could probably acquire him for cheap going forward this year. And he's still super young and he's still super explosive. And I do expect that line to kind of find their groove again. But man, he struggled to begin the year. Had some breakouts tight end wise. We love. What's the kid's name?
Mally Cox or whatever.
No. It's the other kid.
Oh, that's
with a J. I feel so
Jeremy
disrespectful.
Grant? No, that's a football player, NFL player.
That's a basketball player, my G.
But there's a Jeremy Grant in the NFL too. I think. Don't quote me on that.
It is. I'll tell you who the tight end was soon. I'm looking on the screen. Bear with me. Dang, they're not even putting his name up here like that. I have to scroll. This is a struggle. Okay. Never, oh, nope. It's not him either. Golly. Buddy had a 3-touchdown day. They don't even have him as like listed as the player. Jelani Woods. There we go.
Okay.
He don't got a picture. Jelani Woods
Oh.
had a little bit of a breakout.
Oh, yeah, he's from Texas A&M. I remember him now. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, he was a rookie this year.
Yeah, but I thought Werdemeyer was from Texas A&M.
Oh, you might be right on that, too.
Yeah, he also got drafted there, but he was buns. He got moved around, waived. But
Oh,
Jelani
yeah,
Woods
You're right.
balled out. I think he has a future. I think he's a lot of the late round tight end that you could kind of, depending who the Colts are tied to, which right now it's the Derek Carr sweepstakes. It's the Colts, the Saints, and the Jets who are kind of like all vying for the love of Derek Carr. It's like Bachelorette or The Bachelor, but with Derek Carr. If the Colts land Derek Carr, I'm back on board. Call me stupid. But I love Derek Carr. And I think he got a little bit too much of the blame for what happened out there in Las Vegas. When personally, I just don't think that the coach they hired is a good coach. I think he sucks. So, what's your take on the Colts?
Like you said, buy him now while you can. Michael Pittman's perfect buy low. Jonathan Taylor,
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy low on, but you won't let me. Which is, I understand. Because there's no point in selling low unless you get emotional. And you saw what you saw last year with Matt Ryan. Now, whoever they plug in, rather it be someone in the drafts, as long as it's not Will Levis, I love it. And if they get Derek Carr, love that. I don't think they're in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, but what other options would there be besides like Derek Carr on the market?
For them,
Yeah, like not through the drafts.
it
but,
gets really ugly.
well, like I think Mariota's next up.
Mariota.
Yeah, like not too hot about that.
No, Tannehill might be on the move, but I don't
No,
think.
I heard he's staying in Tennessee.
Really? Okay, so
Yeah.
that's good for them.
So
Jimmy Garoppolo was always on their radar.
Jimmy G would be interesting. I don't
Yes.
love it.
Don't love
And
it, but yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, like the risk in buying now. Like you would be paying your lowest, but if you end up with like Jimmy G starting next year, I don't have too much faith in that, honestly. I think they still draft a QB with Jimmy G, and then they do take a Will Levis and try to like mentorship type deal, but it's Derek Carr or yeah.
Honestly, for the Colts and for the Saints and for the Jets, I think
Yeah.
the Jets at least have faith they could pull Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay. It's really Derek Carr or bust.
Yeah.
Unless they really want to drop a bag and try to go get like a Lamar and sign him for a long contract.
No, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Yeah, but it's Derek Carr or bust. Me personally, I'm good buying the discount on Michael Pittman. I was buying at the upgraded rate last year. I'm good buying Michael Pittman at the price this year. Jelani Woods, I'm good adding him as a late round flyer. Mo Alley Cox, I'm kind of not interested, but I do like the potential for Jelani Woods. And if you could get JT at a back end first or a second round price tag this year, especially in redraft, and you could pair him up with somebody in the first round, like say you could have your first 2 picks be JT and a back end first person or early second round person, I'm all for that. That's what I'm looking at right now for the Colts. I don't even want to talk about the actual football because it's just depressing, honestly. But yeah, they underperformed. They didn't show up. Their defense wasn't great. They had their moments, but Stephon Gilmore looked okay. But outside of that, like, it was just abysmal there, So
Yeah. Whole organization of dysfunction, and it showed. So
yeah.
hey.
Which leads me to another organization that kind of is, I think it's going in the other direction. They haven't committed to it yet, but I think they need to start, and it's the Titans. I had them being really bad. I wasn't that far off. How did you have the Titans finishing?
I had them finishing 8 and 9.
Yeah, you were one off.
Yeah, they finished 7 and 10, so little on brand.
I had them 5 and 12. And the beginning of the year, it was looking like 5 and 12. Then they had a hot middle of the season. Then they got cold again at the back end of the year.
Real cold. 7
Obviously,
straight L's.
Tannehill got hurt, so that's part of the reason they got cold as well. Obviously, they lost their tackle in Taylor Lewan, who they've now cut as well, but he got hurt again for like the 3rd straight year in a row. No wide receiving options to really speak of. Robert Woods did not play well this year. Treylon Burks was dealing with injury here and there. Kyle Phillips also dealing with injury here and there. They did have a breakout for a tight end that I will be targeting going forward.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, sir.
Okonkwo, very athletic tight end, did some great things. Obviously, the stats aren't really there to show it, but if you were watching the games and seeing how he was getting involved, very interesting player to look at going forward. And in an offense that they're going to be looking for pass catchers and looking for playmakers, I think he'll be a very interesting player to add to the mix
Yeah.
next year if you are looking for late round guys to draft. I don't think he'll get bumped to that high up draft board. So worth a flyer in the later rounds. Um, Derrick Henry might be on the move. I think he's a free agent.
Is he?
And the direction of this team, even though their brand is Derrick Henry, if I'm the Titans, it's time to go rebuild mode now. I think the window is closed, and you should start going another direction. I think the Jags have the team now, and the Colts are still, in terms of talent, going to be the second best if they could find somebody to throw the ball. So I think they should just start committing to the rebuild because the rest of the division is getting younger. How do you feel?
I think you're right and wrong at the same time. And let me break that down. You're right in the sense of committing to the rebuild because that's what they did when they traded away A.J. Brown to draft Traylon Burks. That was more like a reset move in my opinion.
No. That was being cheap.
I don't
That
know
was
if
not
it was
committing
being
to the
cheap.
rebuild.
Like, yeah, it was being cheap, but you knew what A.J. Brown was going to be, but you don't want to pay him. And it's like you don't want to pay those type of caliber players yet because you want to have something established around them when you do. So let's say, for example, if you do pay A.J. Brown that 3-4 year mega deal, and then in his third and fourth year is when he starts to fall off, but like you're still on that contract and you need other players, that hurts you. So that's why they go and get Traylon Burks, who is supposed to be a plug-and-play, similar step down, but on a rookie deal, and you can then build on that later. So that's like a dip in the toe in the rebuild because you are taking that chance, you are taking that discount, but it's for obvious reasons. Whereas like I disagree with you because they have a legit defense over there. Like that defense is good. It's always been a fact, and they just rely too heavily on Derrick Henry because as you can see, without him, they cannot score the ball. Whereas like that defense isn't a scoring type defense, but they can get you out in you can get second down, third down, you're out. Like I've seen it. So I think that's solid. What they really need is just a quarterback. Someone that can play outside of Derrick Henry because Traylon Burks isn't there yet, especially without Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry is there, but he's doing it by himself. Imagine what he could do if, let's say, they trade up and like get like in a crazy world, they traded the 7th and they take like C.J. Stroud or something like that, or like even AR-15. Like I would like AR over there, honestly, just because the presence of Derrick Henry is gonna help him tremendously as like a rookie. You feel?
My argument in where you say you don't pay that A.J. Brown type of guy is look at the teams with the most success outside of the Patrick Mahomes team, right?
Yeah.
We try to get into the argument of is a guy worth paying. There is something invaluable about adding a true wide receiver one to an offense. In that offense, they depend heavily on Derrick Henry, and that's why they felt they had the luxury to just let an A.J. Brown walk.
Yeah.
And try to just plug and play a Traylon Burks. There's not many A.J. Browns just entering the league. And I know he was dealing with injuries in Tennessee, and maybe that was part of the reason why they decided to kind of take that step back and just go get somebody else. But look what a player of A.J. Brown's level did for somebody like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and that's exactly my point is
Look, kid,
I do like the argument as like you can't pay a receiver this much because of their lack of impact on the game and it's translating to shifts, but a player like A.J. Brown, like you can see with the Eagles, is of that caliber where he is that X factor that can bring you to the next level. Same with Stephon Diggs. He is that caliber receiver to do that. So you might not love the move, but it's not like that's the thing. If you're not going to pay him that money, then you're going to pay the next guy that's almost similar. Like you're going to have to pay someone that money if you want to win. Like
their angle is that they're not. It looks like they're just going to plug and play and keep recycling.
Which is like why I agree with you. Just commit. Like stop playing around with it and just do it. Like trade Henry, trade everything else that's of value right now. Like Simmons gone. Like get as many picks as you can and start looking at 8th and 9th graders right now about who you want to pick and play. Like in a couple of years.
I think Derrick Henry's a free agent now. if
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
that's the
mistaken.
point. It's like now you're gonna let him walk and get nothing from it, and it's like for what? So you could look pretty while you fucking sink, like
Yeah,
just jump
yeah.
off the boat, bro. Like get a new boat. Like, you don't have to die with the ship. So that's why I agree
I
with you.
think I need honestly, I need them to just let Ryan Tannehill kind of leave then. Um,
Yeah,
because I don't see how he's not going to be there for the next time they're competitive if they
no,
decide to rebuild. I don't think he's that level of quarterback where we're like, oh yeah, Ryan Tannehill at 38 is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I sound ridiculous saying that sentence. Like that's not how it's gonna pan out. And you get a Malik Willis, see what you have in the kid. Obviously, he was a fourth round pick
nothing,
for a reason. He showed
nothing,
why. Yeah, he showed
nothing. It was
why. He looks very out of sync. When you need to go to the playoffs and you go sign Josh Dobbs off the trash heap instead of playing the guy you drafted this year, it tells me a lot about
bro.
what you think about the guy in your building. So, if he's not it, let's get back to the drawing board. Let's trade assets, right? You have some defensive players with a little bit of juice that you could probably trade. You waited too long to get Derrick Henry out the building.
Yeah,
He's probably just going to walk out the front door and go to the Bills now. So you have a lot to figure out in the draft, and I think you need to do that because your team is in the crapper. And then that leads us to a team that was still in the crapper, but we knew it was going to be in the crapper. See, you don't have to know a lot about football to know the Texans were going to be bad this year, and we
good.
proved that because I had them
Yeah.
at 3-14.
Also had them at 3-14, and they went 3-13-1.
They
It
went
was
3-13-1,
it
which
was
sounds like a win to me.
yeah.
So 3-14 or 3-13-1 Texans schedule. They lost a lot of games. We knew that would happen. Their defense showed up for a lot of games actually. Surprisingly, they looked really good off start. Um,
Pause. Pause. What's up, Mercy?
resume. You're gonna have to edit this, by the way.
Yeah, I got you.
Resume. Texans lost a lot of games. Defense looked pretty solid, but offense struggled, and we expected that. Damian
Yeah.
Pierce looked good for stints. Also, ended up getting out touched by Rex Burkhead sometimes throughout the year. Very weird coaching.
Yeah.
Had times where they were running 3 tight ends at at a time on the field because the wide receiving core was either hurt or trash.
Or
Brandon
upset.
Cooks needs to have an exit plan at this point.
He tried.
They-
They won't let him leave.
Yeah, he tried.
They won't let him
He
leave.
he went all out. Like he sent the tweet. He sat out the week after the trade deadline. Like he did a lot. But this Texans team going into next year should not have Brandon Cooks on it. I would hope for Brandon Cooks' sake and the Texans' sake. They're not doing anything that needs to have a Brandon Cooks level player there, especially at the age he's at. I think he's 29 now. So get him out of there. Send him to a competitor. Send Brandon Cooks to the Chiefs for like a pick.
No. Chill out. Chill out. They don't need that.
Hey, do something with Brandon Cooks, but he's not going to be a part of your future. At 3-14, though, the beautiful thing is you have a really high pick. So you have a lot you could do with that. They're obviously taking quarterback. I've heard a lot of Bryce Young slander because of his height.
Yeah.
They say Bryce Young weighs 204. That kid does not look like 204. But he
Soaking
officially
wet.
weighed in at that. I think he went to a couple buffets out there and wherever he was at and stocked on the weight. And that boy's going to take the largest excretion of humanly possible to go back to his probably regular paying weight of 185. But I love his talent. And I don't think he needs to be 5'10", 204 to be a solid player. I think he's a pinpoint accurate passer. I think I could see shades of a Drew with the right offense around him, a Drew Brees. But, in the age of the strong, athletic, dual threat quarterback, he's a little bit behind the 8 ball. If they don't love a Bryce Young, there's still CJ Stroud who could be in the mix, but CJ Stroud told him at the interviews that he looks up to Deshaun Watson. I don't think the Texans want anybody.
Players, and he did
I
say
don't
that, so he does
think
get sent to
the
Houston.
Texans
That's a
want.
high-level play.
No, that's smart. That boy's big brain. I don't think the Texans are going to take anybody who looks at anything towards Deshaun Watson. But
Bro, look
maybe
right
his
in the
play will
camera.
still
It's like
fail.
looking at the Texans, like Deshaun Watson. I love him.
Yeah, he did
That's
it.
my quarterback.
He did it.
You're like, all right,
He did it.
We get it, brother. We won't take
He
it.
did it. I respect it, but he might still get taken, right? Outside of that, Will Levis or Levis. We need to figure out how to pronounce his last name because we'll be talking about him a lot this
I
offseason.
don't even want to talk about him. I'll look at the film
He's
tomorrow.
there. He's in the mix, bro.
He's in
like
the two throws so far. I don't see anything else. He played at BYU.
No,
but
he played in Kentucky.
Really? Okay, I might have the wrong guy then. No. It was Blue. Yeah, Kentucky, because they played against Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, never mind. I'm thinking of Zach Wilson. My bad. But no, Will Levis,
BYU.
like 2 throws so far. So I'm gonna look at the tape. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna finish it out.
Again,
ain't selling. He's not better than CJ.
I'm not a huge fan right now either, but he's picking up so much steam. Something has to be connected. So I guess we'll see. But currently, not the biggest Will Levis/Levis fan. But the Texans will be looking for their quarterback of the future in this draft. Sorry, Davis Mills fans, Davis Mills truthers in fantasy who told me, nah, you could just keep him and he's going to be the guy. I don't think so. And on top of that, they need to add wide receiver talent. So
they got Mechie coming back, right?
Yes, they do.
They almost there. I like Nico Collins, but he can't do it by himself. They do need that 1A guy. But
they do need a 1A. I agree they need a 1A. And when they took Mechie last year, I didn't even think that was the right type of player to add to the mix.
At the time.
Yeah.
But like, I figured, will be a time. That's what they're betting on.
I figured Mechie was like the Brandon Cooks replacement somewhat.
Yeah.
But he's not the level of talent Brandon Cooks is yet. I mean, I haven't seen him in the NFL yet. But I don't think he matches up to be that type of guy yet. To be seen, though. The defense is solid, but, if you find yourself in a position to add very valuable players, especially to that secondary, somebody the opposite Derek Stingley, you do that. So, hopefully they can find somebody on day 2 for that. But day 1's already committed. Unless, I think do they have multiple first-round picks?
Let me check.
That I'm not sure of. If they do, then they could really make some noise. Yeah.
I'm like 100% sure. Yeah.
The 2 and like 11. The 10 or something.
Yeah, 2 and 11.
Yeah. They could make some noise, go get their quarterback.
Yeah,
and potentially wide receiver 1 of the future, or a quarterback and an elite defensive like edge player again to replace what they haven't been able to replace since J.J. Watt left. They could go ahead and go. What's the defensive? Well, no, actually, there's a defensive lineman who's going to be slipping down the draft because he was witness to a fatal crash and just left the scene. Big dude out of Georgia. He might be somebody they could get later. So they could probably go their quarterback and a DB and then take the guy with character issues on day 2, So lot to look forward to for the Texans, even though it's 3-14. I mean, unfortunately, they have to play the Jags twice a year, which now sounds like a death sentence because we're just that team. But, It is what it is. Any further thoughts on the AFC South? Obviously, we know nothing. All we knew was that the Texans were going to be bad, and we were on point with that. So,
yeah, Texans were bad. Colts were disappointing. Jags were exciting. Titans were the Titans.
I will say this right now. I think, barring injury, we'll win the division again next year.
100%. Oh, depends on what the Colts do. Hate the break. Because like you said, if Derek Carr is in the building.
I still think we win with Derek Carr in the building. But the only argument I have is that our schedule, I made jokes about how tough our schedule was last year.
Yeah.
Bro.
Is it tough
Bengals, Niners, Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, because that's the benefits of being the 1 seed. You get to play all the other 1 seeds,
I know. Yeah. But the thing is, we get Kansas City and Jacksonville.
Yeah, but y'all got a home playoff game, so it's worth it.
I might get to go see. I might have to go see. I think we play y'all in Jacksonville too.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you're on the side of the home games.
Yes, sir.
So
I'm there.
That might be it. We might have to show up to that one too.
There's no might. I'm there. Like I don't. Y'all know how I ride, Cincy. Been there. I go to as many games as possible.
We have a horrible stadium, but I'm finna pull up if we play the Bengals.
Y'all stadium was nice. The worst thing is just parking.
Don't eat at the concession stand.
Like driving. No, concession stands. I finesse. They're easily to be finessed. I'll teach you my ways. But
wait, you ate there?
I had to. I drove 4 hours.
They found 22 dead rodents there, bro.
Okay, you ever ate at Miller's or something? Like every restaurant's like that. It's not just them. It ain't your first time.
Brad, they found players even in the NFLPA exit interviews. Players said they were even finding dead rats in their like training rooms and stuff.
That's fine. Food tasted good enough. I got a pretzel.
I'll eat before.
I got a free churro. I talked to one of the workers and he slid it to me. He's like, "I got you." I was like, "Bet."
That was a finesse for real. Anyway,
Finesse.
AFC South postseason recap. Hopefully we're more accurate on the future ones, but we're gonna keep going through all these divisions, and see where we were at, see where they ended at, and see what the future holds for some of these teams. And then we'll start covering these prospects for you as well, because you know us, we love our NFL draft talk.
Yes, sir.
And then that slips right into Dynasty Fantasy Football talk. So, got to pair up both. But anyway, thank y'all for the continued support. Thank y'all for keep tuning into this. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.